call my name. I hear the chorus of the leaves, colors of flame, brightly calling my name. Out in the whispering woods, in the deep fog, I feel the touch of the wind as it rolls through the great tree arms, softly holding me there. Hey fools, how's it going? So I'm here starting a new sort of project. Well, actually, I've already done this before. I've made production videos before. It was very fun. I'm sitting here in quarantine, just having a blast making music, and I'm spending a lot of time doing that. And I was inspired by a video actually on Instagram that I saw. Gary V, he said, stop creating and start documenting. And with my other videos, I was in this whole mind frame of, oh, I've got to spend an hour or so a day learning a new song, arranging a new song so I can have a new song to perform every week. But really, that takes just a lot of time, a lot of energy away from the things that I really care about, which is producing my own music. So what I decided is instead, you know what, I'm spending all this time already creating things. Why not just share what I'm already doing out of just pure like creativity and the joy of creating. This is like my art, so why not share my art? And I think the things that were stopping me from doing that are sort of this traditional idea in music where you have to hoard, keep your music, don't share it until it's completely finished, completely perfect, and then you share it with the world. But you know what? I'm deciding that I want to try out something new. I want to try sharing my process. These songs are very, very, very special to me, and this is like I feel my purpose in life, or at least what brings me the most joy, is working on these songs. So why not share that process? I'm here by myself, like giddily laughing to myself, and like when I come up with a new harp part, or when I come up with this amazing cello part, and I'm just here, and the joy is all for me. But so I'm more just curious. I wonder what would happen. I wonder if it's enjoyable for others to see my process. So I'm inviting you in here. If you want to see how I work on my music, here it is. Maybe it'll create some sort of feedback where I can get suggestions from people who are watching this and they have cool ideas that I haven't heard of before, or maybe I have some cool ideas to share with you too. And I don't know. I could see there could potentially be value in this. So I guess let's jump in here. I'm using this this loopback thing here. Now, once I click this, I'm going to be able to hear an echo of my voice. So if I start talking differently, you know why. Yep, I can hear myself. I'm going to get used to that. All right. Anyways, here I'm using Cubase, and I've slaved Sibelius to Cubase. And so I'm using both of those. And here I'm in Cubase. And as you heard in the beginning of this video, me playing that song, you heard of course, the original voice and mandolin part, which you may have heard if you saw me play live, is part I wrote 2 years ago, which is voice and mandolin, and it's about 120 bars long. As you can see, it goes about 120 bars long, and all the other parts cut short around bar 20 because that's as far as I've gotten so far. I've just really started going into verse 1. And so I had made videos because I wanted to bring you guys along my journey in making verse 1. But I had some technical difficulties. I've spent hours actually trying to figure out how to get this application while I was actually trying to record with QuickTime and with Screenshot. Eventually, I just had to go with a better program, a third party called ScreenFlow, which you can see down here, I hope. ScreenFlow. Right there. It's a really awesome program, too. So, but that being said, you guys are jumping in after I've finished verse 1, so I just want to kind of go over what I've already done so far, and then I'll bring you along with me. So what I've done so far, and you heard in the video, was just in me playing, was the violin and cello part. I also wrote a bass part, but I don't have a bass, so we'll just do it the MIDI sounds there. So for the violin part and the cello part, my process was I just, I listened. Actually, let's start here. The first thing I did after once I got this recorded in here, these scratch tracks, I went into Sibelius and I wrote down this mandolin part. As you can see, it says mandolin on the side. You can't see my finger. I got to stop pointing at the screen. But yeah, you can see that I have 120 bars of mandolin and 120 bars or so of voice. Wrote in all the lyrics and everything, labeled the choruses, the verses. I just wanted everything there so I can get started. Then you can see in chorus 1, there's very empty, but once I get back into the verse 1, things get a lot busier. There's a lot of writing I've done, which you'll see me do some more writing for chorus 1. You'll see exactly what I did here. We'll do it in the same process. But to just go over that quickly, I have rehearsal marks for the bass notes, the scale degrees. So this is scale degree 1, scale degree 7, scale degree 1. You see I haven't written any chords in here because I'm experimenting with, and also when I write, it came from more of just this inspired space. It didn't really come from me thinking about chords. So more just sounds. And so I've gone and written figured bass too, just so I know what tones I'm using in that part. And so knowing what was available to me, and also kind of just going with the feeling, I picked up my violin, I picked up my cello, and I just played through it. And with the cello part, that came out as just following the voice more or less. Out in the whispering woods you call my name. So I thought that sounded nice, just following along with the voice. And the violin part, I just chose one of the other tones that sounded nice, already present, right? Yeah, it's already present. Chose the 5th. Because we have a really open 5th sound here in the beginning. It's just really open. There aren't very many thirds here, as you can see, even written up in Sibelius. There aren't really any thirds. Oh, there's one right there. Okay, ignore that. But I think it's a really open sound. So then I went in with the violin part, sort of the same thing. Just went, out in the whispering woods you call my name. Oh, I don't know if that sounded very good, but you get the point. I just went in there, and I think the beginning of the verse came pretty easily, which is right here. It's a very simple part, just big notes. Who knows if it'll stay that way? But I thought I just wanted to keep it really simple. In the beginning, though, I started to change it a little bit. I looked at these chords and let's get this a cello sound going in here, because that's what I used when I thought of this part was, well, what if I syncopate the motion of those two top voices and they start moving around a little bit. And I came up with this where the A comes up here and then stays there, and this one jumps into the 7th. So this one's already moved up, then this guy moves up, and it gets this really syncopated feeling of it kind of just moving up and down, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So here's how I came up with it. I just played on the keyboard. I was like, there's a cello part going on. Oh, no. Let's see. So I went. I really like that violin going from C to D, the fourth to fifth. You see in the beginning, fourth to fifth, C, D. And the cello goes up. And then when we get to the F chord, the 7, we have this F7, which wasn't there when I originally wrote it, but I just loved the sound of the F7. Listen. F7. I was like, oh, that sounds so good. And the melody was coming to me, the da da ba na 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 na. And I just loved that da 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 na na na. Just I really liked that, and it still had this very open feeling. Gosh, I don't want to play that one more time. Let's see. I just loved that feeling. So I decided to leave that slightly more complex part when the voice wasn't here. So you see the voice is not here in the beginning. And then when the voice comes in, it goes into that more simple part because I don't want to distract from this movement up here. But it still keeps the syncopated feeling. And then when I got to this part, I started hearing another melody, which initially on the cello I heard, which as I came to it was this melody. And I really liked that, but the C natural on that on this sharp 7, it would be a diminished 7th. I was like, what's that doing there? That doesn't sound right. That wasn't in the original piece here. We only have a 6 and a third. Like, we should just keep it to a 6 and a third, right? Like, plus the C and the melody, I just didn't know. This C to B movement, while the melody, my voice is going D sharp to B, sounded like this. Which sounds okay, but it's like parallel motion into an octave, which just loses color. It's kind of boring. But I ended up fiddling with it a little bit, and I realized that I think what my ear was hearing was actually something that wasn't in the harmony originally, maybe only implied, but this fully diminished chord. You probably can't see those dark keys as well, but it's the D sharp, F sharp, A, and C. It's a fully diminished chord, and the melody moves between D sharp to B though, but the motion is that C to, that's why C is moving to B, and why D sharp is also moving to B, and why I heard that. It's because of this fully diminished 7th moving to an E minor, and I love that. It's like, what is it? Brightly, then, you know, calling my name. So I was hearing this fully diminished 7th right here, and I just went with that. So I put 9/4 to 8/3 suspensions, and I just went with that harmony. And you could see I fiddled around with it a little bit more here. I don't want to go too much into more detail. You get the point. And then, but you could see that at the end of each of these verses, out in the whispering woods you call my name, we're in G. I hear the chorus of the leaves, colors of flame. Then we kind of get some B naturals, F sharps, and we go more into E minor. Brightly calling my name, so it modulates at the end of each phrase, or whatever you want to call that. In that E minor portion, we move out of the open fifths, open fourths feeling, and there's actually all this tension. Pulling me there, calling my name. So I'm really enjoying the drama and the tension increasing from this open fifth sound to that. So I was really liking that. And is there anything else more I wanted to say about this? So yeah, I guess my process was I just floated out and heard a melody, and when I ended up writing that down, it ended up that it was implying a harmony that I wasn't aware of. It's just something that I felt I probably heard it before, and so that kind of harmony was something that wanted to be there, so I put it there. So a mix of both, and initially it sounded bad, which was a good point. The D sharp and the C both moving to B just didn't sound very good. It left it too open. So adding more of those tones, like the thirds and whatnot, to give it more of this full feeling. In order to be able to do that, I had to move from the inspired melody that I heard to analyzing that and being like, okay, that's a great melody, but does it fit? And how does it fit? And then once I realized that it was a fully diminished chord, then I could fill it in, and then it ended up sounding good. So you can hear that right. Where is that? Not there, right here. Yeah. So besides that, I think, does that about wrap this up? Yep, I think that about wraps it up. But yeah, so let me know your thoughts on me making videos like this, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of, and yeah, your feedback would be much appreciated. I'm really enjoying writing, and I've actually really enjoyed talking while I'm writing. It kind of helps me stay focused, because sometimes I just go off into random worlds for 20-30 minutes. I'm like, wait, I was on that verse, I was on that harp part. So I think this might even help me concentrate more, because I'm actually trying to stay to a topic, and might increase productivity, who knows. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more or less of anything, and anything else. No, I think this is pretty good. Yeah, well, hope y'all are having a good quarantine, and sending you all love and health, happiness, inspiration, and see you next time. Touch of the wind as it rolls through the great tree hums softly.